Hello and welcome to Doma Castle. Go ahead and eat some food, turn on tank stance, and let's go. This is one of my favorite dungeons in all of Final Fantasy XIV. There's a lot that makes this a lot of fun and very interesting. But we'll get into that in just a second here. You're going to start out with an AoE attack on those three guys, and you're going to pull it to this pack of spider thingies over here, whatever, slashers. And you're just going to use all your AoE abilities to pick up aggro on everything. And this is also a good place to use a couple of cooldowns. I used Reprisal and Rampart. And that's it. From here, you're just going to keep on using your AoE abilities. But I love this dungeon because it just plays really well. It doesn't take a long time to get through. There's tons of loot. It's a big war happening around you, and people are screaming and yelling, and stuff is blowing up. It's just a really cool environment. I really like it a lot. Once you're done with the first pack, you can move on to the next section. There's two ways that you can do the next section. The first way is to treat this big Colossus thing kind of like a mini-boss and to handle him solo, and then take the pack of 3 dudes at the top of the ramp and pull it together with the pack of 3 machines at the top of the next ramp. I could see this group was being a little bit impatient and went ahead and pulled, so we went ahead and did option number 2. Which is to pull the Colossus in with this 3-pack here, making it a 4-pack, and then pulling over, and then just doing the last pull right where it is, which is the 3 machines at the top of the next ramp. This can be a common wipe point in this dungeon. That Colossus does tend to swing pretty hard, and if your healer is not good or is not paying attention, you can die right here in the very beginning. So just be careful with these first pulls, and just go slow if you're not really confident or you're not sure of yourself. It's okay to take a little bit of extra time. Just remember, slow is safe, and safe is fast. Moving on to the final pull before the first boss. All I'm going to do here is dive in, use my ranged attack, and use Provoke. And then from here, I will just use my AoE abilities to burn these 3 mobs down. Nothing more to it than to do it. And we have arrived at the first boss 4 minutes into the dungeon. Not bad pace. Turn the boss around and begin using your single target abilities. This boss does have a couple of different mechanics that you have to be aware of as the tank. One of them skips you, which is the one with all the big arrows on the ground, which is happening right now. He'll target a DPS or a healer, but he won't target you, so you don't have to worry about that. The parts that you do have to worry about as the tank are the green lines that appear on the ground. Those are just normal dodges, nothing crazy there. And there they are. Your safe areas will get smaller as this fight goes on, so that's important to keep an eye out. And then also those bombs on the sides. You can see those orange glowing bombs. They will patrol from one side of the play area to the other, and you have to dodge those. As you can see, I moved my camera up a little bit just so I could understand the path of those bombs. And just, that's it. That's really all you have to do in this fight. Dodge the bombs, dodge the green stuff, and the rest of it is just tank and spank from there. With the first boss down, we can move on to the next pull in this dungeon, which is not a wall-to-wall pull. Once this gate opens, you're going to pick up aggro on this Doman Vanguard, and you're going to pull it right over here to these 3 dogs that are going to, or I'm sorry, 2 dogs that are going to come over that wall. Pick up aggro on the 2 dogs, and then bring these 2 things together. Keep in mind that the dogs have a melee attack, and the Vanguard can have a ranged attack like that, like you just saw. So bring everything to the Vanguard so everyone can use their AoE abilities, and you just want to burn these 3 down here. I would not recommend pulling this to the next section because it can be a little bit hairy, but this is the best way to do this part. With those 3 mobs down, we can move on to the next pull, wait for these cannons to go off, and then go around. And this, you can wall-to-wall. It's 3 guys plus another 3 guys after this. So right here, you want to use an AoE attack to pick up aggro on all 3, and then use arm's length because you will be moving quite a ways. Wait for the cannon to finish going off, and then go ahead and pull this together with the next 4 guys, 7 dudes in total. Use your AoE attack to pick up those 7. And then from here, use your defensive abilities. I use Shadow Wall and Reprisal. And then this does not go as planned. So unfortunately, I died here. I usually try to understand what went wrong, and and in my opinion, the issue here was the healer was just not healing me. I was kind of quiet there, and I left it up for a while, and I didn't edit that part out because I wanted you to kind of see what was happening to try to figure out what went wrong. And you'll notice, I'll start talking a little bit to the group here because I placed this one squarely on the shoulders of the healer. And it's not because, I know it wasn't my gear. I know it wasn't an overpull. It's only 7 guys, and I know that this is a spot where that's what you do here. It's a very normal pull. But I did notice that the healer was not healing. He wasn't using his heal ability, which is, Cure 2. I call him out on it here just to, remind him that, like, hey man, you do need to actually heal in this dungeon. So if he had much lower mana and I still died, then at that point you can start looking at things like, was it an overpull? Did you use your defensive abilities correctly? Did you not have enough? Is your gear bad for this level? Like, there's other things that you can look at too, but in this case I know it's not my gear. I know it wasn't an overpull and I used my ability, so it was just lack of healing. On to the second boss. So you just start this fight by using your ranged attack and turning him around. You don't really have to turn him around. He doesn't really have any other attacks besides that AoE, which doesn't matter which way he's facing. But there is a little bit that you will have to do as a tank. In this case, we have a stack mechanic, so we're all just going to stack together. And we'll have to combine that with some other attacks that happen a little bit later in the fight. When these lines come out, what you want to do is avoid them. Get away from them because they're going to expand. And when they expand, when you touch them, you get bounced around like you're in a pinball machine or something. So just try to stay away from those lines once they spawn. When the pillars appear, each player needs to stand in the ring by that pillar in order to reduce the amount of damage that is going to be output by the attack that the pillar generates. Later on, there will be multiple pillars, and there will also be they'll also have the line mechanic as well. So you have to make sure that you oh, the healer died. Oh, it's so weird. He was doing so well. Huh. Anyway, as I was saying, you also have to make sure that you do that. See, there's the pillars that are appearing, but now there's also the lines too. So you have to position yourself correctly in order to reduce the amount of damage that your party takes. Most of the cases, the DPS will take care of the pillars, and you just keep on tanking the boss. And that's really it for this fight. So weird that the healer died. Anyway, moving on to the next pull, which will happen after our healer gets back to us. And we're back. Little spawn right here. So it's these 6 guys. Just get in the middle of all 6. Use your AoE attack. Use arm's length, and then run up the stairs to the right. This is the time that you want to use arm's length because you do have a little bit of distance between that pull and the next pull. Once you get close to these stairs, the next wave of guys is going to come at you. Use your AoE attack to pick up aggro on those, and then begin to use your cooldowns here. So you can see I used Rampart and Reprisal. And then just keep using your AoE abilities, keeping an eye on that enemy list just to ensure you don't lose aggro on anything. In theory, you should never lose aggro if you continue to AoE, so just don't stop using those area attacks. Once these dudes are dead, you're going to head on up to the top of the stairs. And at the top of the stairs, you're going to get this big spider-looking machine. This is kind of a mini-boss. So grab hold of the spider machine, get your aggro however you want to get it, and then fight him at the top of these stairs right in front of the boss's chamber. The reason you fight him here is because there are other dudes that are going to spawn right here there they are. They're going to spawn right there at the top, and you want to pick up aggro on those with your AoE attack as you're fighting this boss. So a little bit of work that you have to do here as the tank. You're maintaining aggro here, and then as the additional spawns come, you're picking up aggro on those. So make sure you keep your camera focused on this area here at the top of the stairs, and just pick up aggro as the dudes come. There's 2 more. So as you can see, picking up aggro on all of them, and that's it. It's just those 2 spawns and the mini boss. Once you're done clearing all of that, the way for the final boss will open. Before engaging the boss, turn around and make sure your entire team is with you and no one is watching a cutscene. Go ahead and engage the boss, and doesn't really matter where you pull him or where you turn him, because he does all sorts of different stuff here. And you're not really going to lose aggro because it's just you're using your single target abilities. So the only thing you have to do is you have to pull him in certain directions based on what your team does, and there's some dodging that you have to do too. So in this first mechanic, 2 of the players are targeted with AoE attacks. They just have to get away from the party. That machine gun attack will always skip you, so you don't have to worry about it. And now 1 player has become the bomb. What is supposed to happen is the player is supposed to pick a corner to bring the bomb, and then you're supposed to pull the boss to the opposite corner. This way everyone is as far as possible away from that explosion, and you minimize your damage. As you can see, the bomb was not dropped in a really great spot, but that's okay, we can heal through it. When these saw blades come down from the ceiling, there is always a gap between the blades. You can see that their line AoE attack is very narrow, and there's always a gap. You can kind of get an idea of where it is. And you're going to combine this mechanic with some of the other ones as well. Here they come again, and you can kind of look and see where there is a little bit of space in between them. You can see I picked this perfect area between these 2, between this one to my left and the one on the opposite side of the room. So when the attacks go off, I'm already in the correct position because I was looking for that gap. So here we have the AoE attack, and unfortunately the players that got targeted did not move. That's okay. Didn't really do a whole lot of damage to us. So now we have the bomb attack along with those lines from the second boss. Again, we want the bomb to be in one corner, and then you pull the boss to the other corner. But at this point, it doesn't matter because he is dead. That's going to do it for Doma Castle. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!